What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another uniform review video. Alright, so we're going to be hopping into Captain Marvel's new uniform here. We have her movie uniform, so yeah, we'll take a look at that today. And yes, I have already purchased this uniform, and that was because I did want to test it out before doing this review because of what I've been hearing from other people, so I just wanted to kind of confirm that for myself. So let's take a look at the uniform here. So we have a change to her 4-star passive, which is the energy absorption, which is going to give her now super armor and all defense. The super armor is really nice. I love it when characters have super armor. The all defense, I mean, that doesn't usually seem to make a noticeable difference, at least to me. I can't really tell when they give the all defense effect that it's really helping out their survivability much, but either way, it's nice to have it there. I prefer to have that than nothing. And then all of her skills are going to be changed around. We've got a stun on here, we've got fracture on her 2nd skill, no kind of buffs on the 3rd skill. The 4th skill right here, we have a decreased enemy's movement speed. I mean, I guess that can maybe come in handy, but the big thing about the 4th skill here is it's going to ignore targeting, so that's really nice, so she can hit enemies that are in iframe. So that is a really nice buff to the 4th skill, so I do like that. The 5th skill right here, her radiant form, she's going to get a 15% increase to all attack. She's going to get a 10 guard hit, and then she's going to get another 15% all attack, 4% all speed, and a 15% crit rate boost, and she removes the incapacitation. So overall, I mean, the buffs are nice. The 10 guard hit is nice for 10 second, but the one thing that you will notice that everyone is complaining about is there is no immunity on any of her skills. No invincibility, no all damage immune, so yeah, it's actually kind of a challenge to keep her alive. Anyway, let's just go ahead and take a look at the skill preview here. So we're gonna take a look here at the skill preview, and I'll just give you my kind of initial thoughts on the uniform right here after the skill preview, but then I'm going to show a short clip of a world boss ultimate run so I can kind of highlight that a little bit more. So if you're just interested in my kind of thoughts on the uniform, I'll give you that right here, and then we'll just hop into the world boss after that. So the first skill right here, no iframe, no protection, so pretty much a unsafe skill to use in like World Boss Ultimate or anything like that. You're going to probably use this in Shadowland. It does have the stun on it, so that is nice. It could be good for PvP, of course, because it draws the enemy in and stuns them. The second skill right here, we do have an iframe at the start, and then the iframe does go away kind of at the end of the skill, so you can't really, as you can see there, she is stuck if I'm holding the joystick. Yeah, she's stuck and won't move until shortly after, so you can get punished from the the end of the 2nd skill. And then the 3rd skill right here, she kind of flies around a little bit like Hyperion's 4th skill, so not too bad. And it is an iframe, kind of a full iframe. It has a kind of startup delay. As you see, right when I hit the button here, the iframe doesn't start immediately when you activate the skill, and then just like the 2nd skill, at the end of the 3rd skill, you are out of your iframe as well, so you're vulnerable before and after the 3rd skill completely finishes its animation, which is kind of annoying because that's a lot of chance for her to get hit. And then the 4th skill right here goes into kind of a cinematic, which is really cool. I love the animation on this 4th skill. It's definitely going to be her most damaging skill as well, and it has the ignore targeting, so very, very nice and solid skill right here. And it is an iframe. You can't really tell because you go into the cinematic here. The easiest way to tell if you do want to confirm it for yourself is actually jump into Giant Boss Raid, and then since it doesn't let you do those kind of cinematic views, you can actually see the ignore iframe, the iframe indicator, so you know that she is in an iframe. And then her 5th skill right here, the Radiant Form, it does do some damage, which is nice, so she doesn't just pop into the form. You can get some damage out of this if you want. And then she gets her buff going, and that 10 guard hit, which with her tier 2 passive goes up to a 12 guard hit, so not too bad right there. And then it increases the duration to 12 seconds instead of 10 seconds as well, so helps to extend it a little bit longer so you don't have as long as of a delay between casting her 5th skill, because you have like a 5-second downtime or something like that, so a lot of time that she's going to be out of her radiant form, so that is kind of annoying as well. So I would have liked to have been able to keep up the radiant form all the time, or I'd like some other kind of protection on the character, because yeah, she doesn't have any. She doesn't even have any on her ultimate skill. Her tier 3 skill has no immunity as well, and it is not an iframe, so it's quite annoying. The kind of lack of defensive skills that Captain Marvel has, and it's just a stark contrast to her previous uniforms and build, because she used to be able to be all damage immune for pretty much the entire fight. So yeah, it's quite disappointed. It's disappointing. So overall for the uniform here, it does increase her damage significantly. So her damage does get a massive boost. So yeah, the uniform does do that for her, but keep in mind it's severely going to hurt her survivability. If you want to use her in World Boss Ultimate, you're going to struggle with keeping her alive, just because that guard is nice, but a guard doesn't guard against the kind of stage effects in the World Boss Ultimate, so all of the dot damage effects are still going to go right through your guard, and you're going to get bled and poisoned and everything, even if you have the guard up. So that's what really really hurts her survivability. She just dies very quickly from all of those dot effects. So overall, I think the uniform is nice for the damage. If you know that your survivability is going to be a lot lower, then I would say definitely pick it up, because it does help out the character a lot. It's just her survivability that's mainly taking the hit, and it's only in game modes like World Boss Ultimate and Giant Boss Raid if you're not too careful, because you can get punished very easily with the kind of delays on her iframe startup right here. So it's just easy for her to get punished. So she's kind of a glass cannon now with this. So anyway, now that that is out of the way, we'll jump into a little bit of the gameplay that I was talking about earlier, where I did some World Boss Ultimate. As you can see here from the uniform, I do have it at Heroic, and that was so I could get the skill cooldown and ignore defense, because I wanted to get her as close to maxed out as possible in terms of those stats. So if we go back here, where are we going? No, go over to my character page, please. Alright, let's find Captain Marvel here. So go down. Alright, so here she is. Alright, so for Captain Marvel, as you could see, I have already actually got her potential unlocked. I was really lucky and got it in 3 days. Yeah, so I got like 33% each day. But anyway, I'm not really sure if I'm going to tier 3 her. I was really excited when I heard she was getting her tier 3, and I was like, oh dang, I'm definitely going to tier 3 Captain Marvel, but I don't know, I've just been so disappointed with this uniform. I don't think I'm going to tier 3 her, because my main enjoyment in the game is playing things like World Boss Ultimate and Giant Boss Raid, so I like those kind of game modes where you use your high DPS character and just do tons of damage, but this survivability is hurting her so much that I don't really enjoy playing her in those game modes. So I don't think I'm going to tier 3 her until maybe if they happen to update the uniform, or if maybe way down in the future she gets another uniform, something like that. I don't know, but for now I don't think I am going to. So if we take a look at her stats here, I was able to cap out her ignore defense and skill cooldown, and then her crit rate and crit damage are pretty nice, 42 and 170, so they're not terrible. And then we do have max attack speed, which you don't really need, because she does buff her attack speed a little bit here. As you can see here, I have a little bit of Uru on just to cap out those stats, so I definitely will be replacing those later if I decide to work on her any more than I already have. Her skills, we have pretty much all of them leveled up. This goes up to what we saw in the skill preview, because it does show you at level 6 now, which is nice. You don't have to see level 1 stats there, so we know what the max is going to be for all of those stats. Her ice weight set, we have Power the Angry Hulk, which if I did work on her, I would be changing that to overdrive, because I do have her attack speed capped right now, so I could definitely sacrifice a little bit of the attack speed from Power the Angry Hulk here. And then I do have her old obelisk on from before when I was working on her, so I haven't given her a new obelisk since the uniform came out, and that's just a ignore a guard break immunity, crit damage, and a 120 proc, so nothing too special here. I can probably throw on a obelisk without guard break immunity, but it seems like with this uniform she's mainly going to shine in like PvP, or at least that's what I'm assuming based off of her skills. So you probably would want to keep the guard break immunity on, just because a lot of characters have pierce, so that would help her out having super armor and guard break immunity. But I do like having a damage proc on her, because her 4th skill does do really nice damage when you do get that damage proc lined up. Well, anyway, now that we've gone over my build on her, and you see what she looks like. Let's go ahead and hop into that World Boss Ultimate fight so you can kind of see what I'm talking about in terms of the uniform's survivability. Alright, so here we are at Corvus. We're going to be taking on stage 30 here just to kind of show off Captain Marvel a little bit. We're going to be using all dodge ignore strikers except for anti-venom so that we have his healing. And then we are going to be using Captain Marvel's leadership. We have White Fox for her tier 2 support because Captain Marvel does have the leadership tag. And then we have Wasp because, yeah, we need that debuff immunity very badly with Captain Marvel here. Mainly because, like I was saying, the bleed and poison effects go through guard, so she just gets bled and poisoned. And yeah, it's not fun, and those blade twisters as well will snare and just ruin her day. So yeah, she needs a lot of help here for World Boss Ultimate, mainly just protection from the stage effects, because I found she's pretty safe with that 10 guard hits if you play very aggressively with her. So if you have a max skill cooldown, you go into your Radiant form, you pop that 4th skill to get your damage proc on, hopefully. Then I like using the 2nd skill, and then from the 2nd skill right into the 3rd skill, and then right at the end of the 3rd skill back into the 4th skill. And chaining those iframes together can keep her protected fairly well, relying of course a little bit on her guard hit protection from the Radiant form, because you do have that little bit of downtime between the start and end of the 3rd skill where it is not an iframe. Same with the 4th skill. The 4th skill does seem to have an immediate start to the iframe, but at the end of the 4th skill it does appear that you can take some damage before the actual skill finishes out. And the same with the 2nd skill, as I just showed in the skill preview. The end of the 2nd skill, she kind of stands there for a while out of the iframe before this skill finishes its animation. And there we go, it's one of the benefits of her tier 2 passive. When I pick up those healing globs, I actually get a double heal from each glob. So each glob I pick up, she will get 2 healing effects from it, so it's quite nice. So she can heal up really quickly from anti-venom's kind of support right there. But if I didn't have Wasp's debuff right here, I would definitely have already been dead trying to use this more aggressive kind of skill rotation with her, trying to take advantage of the iframes that I do have, and then make sure that I have that guard hit to kind of buffer the time in between the start of the next skill and the end of the skill that I'm currently in. So overall, I mean, you can play her pretty effectively using those iframes and relying of course on that 10 guard hit, but the 10 guard hit isn't going to be up the entire fight because it only lasts for 10 seconds, and her 5th skill at max skill cooldown was 16-second cooldown or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you have like a good 5, 6, maybe even 7 seconds of downtime between your guard coming back up and being refreshed. So yeah, it's just a pain to keep her alive. That's the only thing I'm really disappointed about, because the damage is nice, because I only have a 120 proc on her. So doing stage 30 with only a 120 proc and my kind of mediocre build on her is actually quite nice. But yeah, as you can see there, all those status effects were killing us, and then Wasp's debuff comes back up and removes all of that for us, and that really helped out. And as you see there, I picked up like 3 healing globs and it gets her back up to full health. So I don't know, to play her effectively in World Boss Ultimate, I feel like you need to have a debuff leadership or Wasp in your team, and you need to have like anti-venom as a striker to get that healing. I mean, you can probably play her very passively and maybe survive a little bit better, but then you're going to be missing out on a lot of damage because you're not going to be playing as aggressive. And using this skill rotation, like I said before, it's a really aggressive kind of skill rotation for her, but it seems to work in terms of keeping her in an iframe as long as you possibly can. Of course, there are gaps in between it, so that's why I'm taking damage, but using that guard hit is nice. So I don't know, I'm just very underwhelmed with her, so that's kind of how I've been feeling while doing the testing here. I'm just kind of like, you know, I don't really feel like playing her. She's not as good as I thought she was going to be, and this and that, and she lost all of that lovely damage immunity that she used to have, because that was one of my favorite things about her before. I'd just go into like World Boss Ultimate or Shadowland and she would just never take any damage, and that was just really fun to do. I mean, her damage was really bad, but her survivability was awesome, and this is like literally the complete opposite. So, or I don't know what to say. I don't think I'm going to get her to tier 3 unless something changes with her survivability. Let me know your thoughts below if you found a better way to keep her alive, if I'm maybe overreacting to her lack of survivability, if she's really good in something else. But I would like to play her in World Boss Ultimate and Giant Boss Raids. Those are kind of my goals. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on the character and the uniform, if you're liking it or not. But that's just going to be my opinion on her so far, my initial impressions. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.